Cool.
Go, go, go!
Just gotta go and do my little commentary on the own, so you don't hear me. And I'll be back in game chat from going to the monitor screen. Hello and welcome to the EDC Weekend Cup Round 9 Silverstone National Race 1. We are now towards the final weekend of this race with the Genetic Junior. The race tonight will be 50 laps. Weather slots for this evening will be medium, clear, medium, and then some light rain at the end. So this is the pole shootout for the race. Just gonna give me a second. I'll just get the just gonna find the standings for the race at the moment. So it's the championship. So last week the race was abandoned for race number 2 last week was abandoned because the settings were incorrect. So into the final race, into the final two races of after Hockenheim race 2 was abandoned. So Kempster is sitting at the top of the table, 95 points. Morty has 89 points in second. Nomis has 76 points in third. Mr. Sudi has 71 points in fourth. He's not racing in hand to man. He has 62 points in fifth. Rico is 6th with 56. Cougar has 50 points in seventh. Jip has 49 points in eighth. Ashhead has 49 in ninth. Then Cleto has 41. Winky has 40. Thomas has 38. Jay has 36. Gaz has 18. John has 16. And Lookout has 12. At the moment we have a look at the fastest times being set so far. We have Nomis as Kimpston fastest at the moment, we're on 1:12.381. Looks like the chat is now working again, so that's good news. So I can now actually see your comments. Last week we had no comments at all, so this week we do have comments. So Morsey now goes fastest with 1:12.021. 4 minutes left in the session. Morsey is second in the championship. We're first in the championship. They're sitting pretty. Of course, it is a mandatory stop. The rain should add some interest. The next car will not be the Renault Clio as it was originally announced. It will now be the Formula Rookie, and the first race will be announced tomorrow. Yeah, I am in the thing, but I'm not actually qualified. I've got a tyre to monitor, so hopefully it doesn't affect my status. Much to my annoyance if it does. So the rain should have some interest because we just did some practice in the rain, which I obviously didn't show. It's not really interested in seeing the rain at the practice session, so it'll be quite interesting. Small has in 1:11.638. I think he's getting a bit of a tow though from Thomas. Looks like he is. So he's what we would refer to as slipstream whoring. Goes even faster there. We were 1:11.638. Thomas is on 1:11.747. She realised Kimster there, so it's a 1:11.962. Ashid on 1:12.194. On to the last 2 minutes of this session. Adjust my microphone, meaning my sound on my microphone, so you can actually hear me over the engine. Didn't realise I didn't do that. So we're now into the last 2 minutes. Entering now the last 2 minutes of this session. Morsey still on pole as Kimster goes faster with a 1:7.40. It's now is 1/100th of a, is 1,000th of a second, 100th of a second away. All the tires will start tumbling. The track starts to get more and more rubbered in. Is now going to. Of course, now we have all the with the pit monitor, we actually now have the ability to see what everyone's fuel loads are. So I'm watching can cheat, so don't be watching. So here's our current pole man into the last minute of this session. So it's been a good championship. We've had some interesting races, not quite as close as I thought it would be. Next week should be more interesting with the open wheel cars. Again, the first track will be announced at the end of tomorrow's stream. In the booth here on my own. Cleto is not commentating with me as Thomas goes fastest. 1:11.482. Impressive lap time there from the Austrian. But it looks like he got a little bit of he kind of got payback there from a little bit of slipstream off Morsey. Now can't set out their last laps. The national circuit's the shortest of the three variants of the Silverstone circuit. Utilises the old Formula 1 pit entry. We'll Almost have a chance to set another time. Doesn't look like he will. So Nomis, he slots into 4th place. Kimster and Morty didn't go out to set more times. So we see who's still on track, who has a chance. So here's Rico, he still has a chance to move up a few places. He was our race winner in Hockenheim last week, and he does not improve. It looks like everyone's going to Jefferson now has a chance to improve on his time. He's not been enjoying the little car. He should just be at home next week in the open wheel cars. And does Jefferson improve? Well, we won't know. So this is our starting grid. So is Thomas on pole with Morsey 2nd, Ashhead 3rd, Kimster 4th, Nomis 5th, Rico 6th, Winky in 7th, and Jefferson 8th, and of course me down at the bottom with no time set. So we'll now go to the screen you wouldn't actually see, which is the countdown screen. Oh, now I'm going to just go and check, see if they can actually hear me. So, hello, guys. You let me know if you can actually hear me if I start commentating in the race. You should. It should cancel me out. Hopefully. No, I went into party chat. Right, can you still hear me? Alright, I'm going to have to go into party chat then. Sorry about that, we missed the start of the race, but it is. So we're now underway here at race 1 of the EDC Weekend Cup. Thomas got away with a fantastic start. Morsey battling away here. He's under. So Rico's gone on the inside here. Thompson looks like he's got away. As looks like there's an accident at the back there between. I think that's Ashhead. Looks like Ashhead collected jiffers there. So from the we're going to go complete lap 1. It's Thomas from Morsey, from Rico, from Winky. He's got some pressure from the yeah, it's little Janetta's baby Janetta's. It's a weekend cup for the EDC. We race Wednesdays, and we also have a little weekend cups on Friday and Saturday. You can find us on Facebook. Morsey looks like Rico's going to try to take him on the inside here, and a little bit of contact between the two of them, and looks like Rico's got through there. No, he didn't get through, so Morsey's going to have to defend again. This is going to help out. Thomas is going to get a look at the lead here, as looks like Rico's going to go down the inside here, and he's going to get the pass done. Meanwhile, at the back of the grid, we have managed to get a gap on Jiffers. The two of them had an earlier coming together. So we've got three abreast here. So Nomis has got gonna try and take the outside line here. He's run out of room, but he has moved up into third place. Winky's also taken advantage, and he has moved up into fourth. There's a good manoeuvre there. It's like Nomis took full advantage of the little Genetter's Ford engine. But meanwhile, that has given chance for Thomas to open the lead. It's now moved up to nearly 2 seconds over championship contender Morsey. Get some more slipstreaming action happening here on the straight. As Rico looks to go on the inside, but he's going to have a little bit of contact, and there's a contact there with. So that started there from contact from Rico, who hit Winky, and then they collected Nomis while they went through there. I think some choice words are probably going on there. It was Rico who obviously had the slipstream, and he then tagged Winky, who then ended up hitting Nomis. But the man who benefited from that was Kimster. So this is the shorter version of Silverstone, so it utilises all the, completely cuts out all the bottom half of the track. This is the Wellington Straight that they're all powering down. There's some more slipstream. They it looks as though that's Winky getting some pressure from Ashhead. And Nomis is looking to see if we can get past Kimster, as Morsey seems to have closed down on. It's done a little bit on Thomas in the lead as they go through Cops. Go back to this battle at the back here between Nomis, Winky and Ashhead. Nomis looking to see if he can get past Kimster. So Ashhead has got some slipstream on all three of them, but I don't think he's going to have enough to be able to get through here. board. The camera angles are not quite as good as the camera angles you would get in the broadcast mode, but the patch fortunately ruined that. So it looks as though Morsey has caught up with Thomas. He seems to be lapping a lot faster than him. The sun's starting to set here, so it's don't really like the this mode. Unfortunately, it's not the best I can do. But so it's a 50 lap race, and we've done 7 laps thanks to at the top there. So 43 laps left. Mandatory stop. So nobody has stopped just yet. To look as though Gifford has dropped off. Nomis again looking for an opportunity to pass Kimster. And no dice. Winky's now, is he going to fend off the advances from Mashed? Doesn't look like he looks like he will, as now it looks like we have a challenge for the race lead between Morsey and Thomas. Into what would be the Maggots and Aintree. Now you'll now get the slipstream from on the Wellington Straight. Trying to look for a pass on the outside at Brooklands. That's not gonna happen into Luffield. So Thomas was going a bit slow there. He's not got a chance to catch him, so it looks as though Kimster is again under pressure from Nomis. But he just doesn't have the pace to get past him through Cops. He goes side by side into Maggots. Is he going to go on the inside? He's broken early, and no, he's not going to get him. It looks like Morsey's now side by side with Thomas for the race lead down the Wellington Straight. It's going to be all about who's going to be the bravest into Brooklands at the end of this straight. We've had a few coming together already in this race. And it looks like Morsey's got it done, and he takes the race lead on lap 9. Beautifully done, got it all done down the straight, got the slipstream, and then got it done into the corner. I don't know what the issue is for Jiffers. He doesn't like the car. Mashed has now fallen off from Winky. So now it's Winky has started to fall off the back of the challenge for the lead, from the challenge for 4th place between Kimster and Nomis. Gap between them is now 4 seconds. So it looks like they got onto the back of Rico, these two. It looks like as though he's got some little bit of a reverse slipstream. Still nobody has taken their mandatory stop in the race as yet. So we've now got 40 laps remaining. though Thomas has regrouped and he's now back on the. He's now going to challenge. He's going to try and challenge Morty for the race lead. This battle for third is heating up as it looks as though Kimpston's starting to get a little bit of a gap. Sorry, I don't know. It's not the gap between the drivers that's showing. It's the gap between people for the race leader. Of course, it's a pit monitor. It's not actually showing the full extent of the gaps. Fortunately, to ascertain the gap. So it looks as though Winky's got a 6-second lead. I don't see what happened to Winky. He's fallen off. We have a stationary car by the looks of it. Looks like we do. Not sure what's happened here. Hopefully the guys know that there's a stationary car. That might cause an issue. Depends on whereabouts he's stopped, if he's actually stopped on track. Looks like he's starting moving again. And it looks like Winky has retired from the race. I mean, Winky's our first retirement. I don't know what's happened there. So we'll go back to this battle for third place between Kimster, Nomis and Rico. Rico is defending well there. Always looks like he's going to move on a bit wide through Luffield. It's going to give Kimster a chance to go have a attack at him at Cops, which is the first corner on the national circuit, and it looks as though Thomas has pitted. First of our mandatory stoppers. So we can see he is taking all four tyres. So he's taken. I think his pit monitor being more useful in this than it is in so he has stopped and taken on all tyres. So Morsey now has a clear lead now. Kimps is now under pressure from Nomis to go again into it, braking for Brooklands. And Kimps has gone a bit deep there, but it's as though he's going to keep hold of that, keep hold of fourth place. This Thomas now is going to exit the pit lane after his stop. He'll be a lap down. So at the moment, what this would do for the championship would mean that Morsey would take back the lead at the top. So depending on what happens with the pit stop, of course, because anything can happen. Once again, looking down for an opportunity down here at down the Wellington Straight. No dice again. Kimson looking to also get some advantage on Rico. He's now in second place after Thomas's stop. Lap 14 as we go around. Yep, you're more than welcome to join tomorrow. So here we go. We'll Kingston now shake off Nomis, as it looks as though Rico got a little bit too much of cops there on the exit. Is that going to compromise him at Maggots? It doesn't look like as though it will, but it will mean that Kingston will be a bit closer now down the Wellington Straight. Kims to be able to pull this one off. Have a look as he goes into Brooklands, into Brooklands Love Field. He's closer this lap, but he's not going to get it. As it looks as though Chiffers has now stopped. Jiffers has taken his mandatory stop, so Thomas and Jiffers are both stopped. Out in the lead is still Morsey. There's a nice 1 second in the other 2 second lead on the battle for second place. A little bit of late braking there from Rico. Will Nomis take advantage here? I don't think there's enough of a straight for these cars to pull off anything, is it? So we have another. That's someone else that's left. Looks as though that was Jiffers who's gone. So we now only have 6 runners left. And that's 16 of 50. Gotta find out what's going on here. What's going on? Oh, there's people have retired. Okay. Okie dokie. I'll go back to my commentary then. If you still wanna carry on with 6 of you. Okay. I'll go back to my commentary then. Okay, so about that, we're just finding out if the race was still going on, but they're more than happy to carry on with 6 of them. So it's still Morsey leading. So it looks like we've got another retirement. So we've lost someone else, now down to 5. So it's like Ashhead's gone. I'm just going to find out if they still want to carry on. But we have, so it's 19 of 50 laps, so these are the last runners. Thomas is of course all out on his own now. He's got no one to race against, but these all guys do all have to pit. So now have a really good battle here developing between the four of them. So it's Morsey leads from Rico, from Kimster, from Nomis. All four of these still have to stop. Coming up to about 30 laps left. And Morsey comes into the pit from the lead. So Rico will now take over the lead of the race. Morsey will drop back down, so it'll give a chance for Thomas to take a position back. So now these are our race leaders. Rico from Thomas from Nomis, as Morsey's gone in for his mandatory stop. So he changes all four tyres, you can see there as they finally heat up. And the Wellington Straight again. Now again we have 13 laps remaining in this race. He's still in the pit lane. He's now just exiting as Thomas comes round. Will he be able to take Morsey for track position? Don't think he will. And these three still not taking their stops. So geez, Rico's now coming in for his stop. So Morsey did get out in front of Thomas. I can see whether he'll get out in front of Rico. So it's Kimster who leads this race now after the stops of Morsey and Rico have now stopped. We've got Nomis and Kimster still to stop. Rico is still stationary. This car's starting back up again. Here comes Morsey. Will Rico get out in front of Morsey? I think Morsey's going to get him. Here comes Thomas. So it looks like Rico might have got a stuck tyre or something. Might have had a pit error. Looks like it has cost him. Let's pull him back into the sights of Thomas. Kimster still leading this race, these two still to stop. It's Nomis looking to take advantage here. He's looking all over the back of Kimster's car for an opportunity as he enters Copse. He's not going to have a chance here as he's looking for his opportunity. Opportunity not for Nomis here. Well, she had some misfortunes in the early races. He delayed his stops in at the race at Red Bull Ring. Has kind of learnt from that as he's gone through. Hopefully the next car will be to other racers' likings. Some people don't really particularly like these cars, so one more race with them and then they're gone. They are the slowest car on the game, 120 miles an hour. They're not renowned for their speed. Still no action between the two of them for a stop. As though Thomas has caught up with Rico, but Rico's starting to get a bit of a gap on him now. Just confirming that Ashton has retired from the race, so we now are down to 5 now. As we reach the midway point of the race. Let's see how fast the cars are actually going. There you go. So I'm just looking, probing for an opportunity to take this race lead. It will be interesting to see who dives into the pits first, who's eyeing it up. Track temperatures one down to about 64 degrees Fahrenheit. Now bit temperature about 53. That you can convert that if you want into Celsius. Don't blame me, blame the game. It's quite cold out there. It is a crisp spring evening. It'll technically be a spring morning. So Thomas is looking to have an opportunity to get past Rico. So despite there being so few cars on the track, there are some battles developing. These two have actually stopped, so has Morsey's, and we're still looking for our race leaders to come in. Now at the midway point of the race. So Kim's starting to get a bit of a gap now. We are lapping about the same pace, so it's looking good so far for these two. Go back to the what would be about for 4th place due to the retirements. Thomas is going a bit quicker than Rico, but he does have, his tyres are more, well, he takes advantage of a little bit of a collision between the two of them there, and will drive Rico wide there. So there was a bit of contact between the two of them there. As Rico was the one who come out worst between the two of them. I'm pretty sure he will not be pleased with that. It's like a 50-50 if you would think about it, but it was kind of 50-50, but Rico did come off worse. He was driven wide at Brooklands, and he got him all wrong at Lovefield. I'm pretty sure he will not be pleased. So back to our chat as go back to our race leaders. 27 of 50 now. Back onto the Wellington Straight. The two of them go. It looks as though Kipster gets more and more of a lead now on Nomis. He was about 48-second lead on Morsey in third place. Morsey does carry a penalty, which it is a tiny little track though, as you can see on the graph. It doesn't utilise the full extent of the track. So into the pits comes Nomis. He has about 46-second lead himself on Morsey. So Morsey's the blue dot that's just coming around the bottom of the track on the screen. He's coming down through Maggots and now coming up through the Wellington Straight. As you can see on there he is. So the white dot in there is Nomis in the pit lane. Coming around through Brooklands. So has Nomis timed this perfectly, or is this going to give Morsey a chance to move into second place? Comes Morsey. So Morsey moves into second. Nomis is now just exiting, so where is Thomas? Here's Thomas. And Rico. It looks like Nomis is going to get out in front of them. He's going to get out in front of Morsey as he's coming around the exit of the pit lane. There he is, the white car. And he has got enough to get out in front of Morsey after the stop. So he timed that to perfection. So now it's going to be a matter of how much of a lead can Kipster get before he stops. Before the rain comes in the last slot. So it's Nomis in second, Morsey in third, Thomas fourth and Rico in fifth. As Morsey's not close enough yet to challenge for second place, so when will Rico's got back on the case of Thomas. So when will Kipster fire the trigger for his mandatory stop? Not yet, as he looks to extend his lead. At the front of the pack, as he's the only one now left who has not stopped. As he comes around to complete lap 29. Now going to lap 30, 20 laps remaining of this race. The rain is now starting to come down, as you can see in the forecast and the track conditions, so the rain is coming. So it's a little spot there, we'll be getting the little spots of rain on their windscreen. So this is the last weather slot. So I mean that the track will now start to get a bit greasy and a bit wet. Puddles will start to form, and they do form on this track, and it must make the track a bit treacherous, especially down here at Brooklands. You got puddles forming all over the place, and when you come at the exit of Luffield, there's a massive puddle that starts to form on the inside, and you also got all of them over the main start straight here at Silverstone National. They're all over. So you really have to have your wits about you on this track. So it's Kipster still leading. As Rico has managed to get back onto the Mac of Thomas. Hopefully they can challenge each other cleanly, as it looks as though Morsey has managed to track down Nomis. This is the battle for second place. It's pretty critical in the championship terms, because Morsey does need these 15 points that he will get for second place. If he has any chances of closing down Kipster, who took the lead after the race at Hockenheim, which Morsey missed. This rain will start to affect it. Tomorrow's race will if we looked at the weather forecast, it will be before wet race, so it'll be quite an interesting experience for these people, particularly ones who don't like the Genetas. Just starting to go a bit up a bit. Sure, the fuel concerns won't be too much in the back of the minds. 19 laps now remaining of this race. We can't actually see the rain as yet on the screen, but it's definitely there. Let's see if we can see it. And yeah, there it is on the cockpit view, so we can hear it. Can't see it on the camera though. It's definitely raining now. Morsey desperately looking for an opportunity to take this. Now it is starting to hit the cameras on the side of the track. Kipster still has yet to come in. There's 18 laps remaining of this race. Now the lap times will start to drop as the track gets more and more moist. Is this a chance for Kipster to take his pit stop while the lap times are still in his favour? He's not coming in. As we now go into the 17 laps remaining, so it really is starting to come down out there. Of course, these guys don't utilise in cars, so they won't be activating their windscreen wipers for us. As Rico's now on the outside of Thomas. Looks like they go, as looks like the sounds of them, they're side by side down the Wellington Straight. That means you will lose the slipstream as he goes into Brooklands. As he keeps in the background there. And no dice for Rico. He was side by side with him as he got into him at Aintree. I'm about to call it Braintree. My bad. So the game's told us indicators that Morsey has started to challenge Nomis, but it doesn't look like he has. So Rico is about developing here for 4th place between these two. Is our race leader going to come in on this lap? He is not. Again, he's going to go back round. See more and more droplets of rain now on the camera. Can't see what's happened here. Rico has got past Thomas. I think Thomas got it wrong at Maggots. He must have fallen off. Something has happened and he's lost a place. So Rico now takes 4th place. So he will look to try to close back down on Nomis and Morsey in front. I've got no gap indicator between how far they are apart in this view, so I can't tell you. I can only eyeball it. So it looks about, so from the thing, at least about 8 seconds between Morsey and Rico. And Kipster still not coming in. So now we're into the last 15 laps of this race. Is Kipster gambling here with a chance to take this race when he has to get enough of a gap to go into the pits, change all 4 tyres and exit in front of Nomis and Morsey, while battling for 2nd place and 3rd place respectively. So it is about 11 seconds if you go on the gap indicator there. So it's about 11 seconds between Morsey and Rico. Rico, of course, was battling hard with Thomas. They did have contact earlier as well. This track sounds like it's still quite dry. So the lap times are still pretty much on par with a drier lap time, as the track will start to get more and more damp. Track temperature's gone up a little bit as well, about 4 degrees. The ambient temperature, of course, is still sitting around about what it was. Still, from an indicator, Kimster still has not come into the pit lane. It's a good race developing here between these five. The five that are braving it out. Kimster still holds around about 45-second lead. He's lapping slower than the two behind him in Nomis and Morsey, so has he gambled his race win here? So we'll go back to this battle developing between Nomis and Morsey. What's up? Morsey's got about a 1 second gap now on Nomis. Nomis has got about a 1 second gap on Morsey. The gap, it looks as though it has halved between Morsey and Rico, who seems to be taking a bit out of him. Not on that previous lap though. And it looks as though Kimster has now coming into the pits, so where is Nomis in respect to this? So Nomis is now on the Wellington straight. So has he gambled his race win here? We have Nomis is now coming into Brooklands. So here he comes. He's into Brooklands. Kimster still in the pit lane. Still not moving. Brakes still engaged. We will see Nomis come round now. Any moment we'll see his lights. There he is. So there's Nomis. He's closely followed by Morsey, as now Kimster's car is starting to move. But Nomis will move into the lead. Morsey into second place. Kimster is still in the pit lane. He will now come under threat from Rico, who's now coming round to Cops, the first corner on the national circuit. Will he lose a position? Will he lose track position to Rico? He has. So it must have been a pit error that has cost him, as it did cost Rico. So he'll come onto the back of Rico after his pit exit. So Nomis has now taken the lead. Morsey is officially in second place. Rico is in third, as he's now under pressure from Kimster, who's now on fresh tyres. It's going to be a very interesting last 13 laps of this race. So Nomis leads, 1 second gap between back to Morsey. They've been battling it all out. Kimster looks like he got a bit wrong there at Luffield. As now the track is starting to get a bit wet, starting to get treacherous. So 12 laps remaining. It's Nomis from Morsey, from Rico, from Kimster, from Thomas. So it must have been a pit error that cost Kimster, because he started to exit and he went straight into the clutches of Rico. And those two are now battling it out for third place. It will be damaged imitation now for Kimster. As you can see, the wet, the track really now starting to get really wet, as looks like Kimster's going to try to go on the inside and Rico will cut it off. He's not going to let him take that third place easy. You see the water being kicked off the back of these cars now, as the track is really starting to get damp. As puddles will start to form, and they will play up their part. these cars do not like puddles. They hit them, they will lose control. It looks like Nomis has managed to... It looks like we have a look at the timing screen for penalties. So Morsey has 6 seconds of penalties, so that will play its part. So he will have to get past Nomis and 6 seconds clear. And of course, if Kimster stays within 2 seconds of Rico, he will take 3rd place. So Rico's going to have to put his foot down. He has to get a gap on Kimster, otherwise he will lose it as Kimster goes out to the left. Opportunity, and he's not going to get it as they go into Brooklands here. This is the battle for 3rd place. It's very important for the championship, and it's important for Kimster to get this 3rd place, but he will get it by penalties. It's not really a nice way to get it, but he will get it. So we're now down to the last 10 laps of this race. It's been a good little race. I've just gone down again. Wind's about 10 mark. Well, the wind's not really playing much part into it, but yeah, so we've got about 9 litres left. That should be more than enough to get to the end of the race. I wouldn't imagine that's gonna cause any issues. It might though. Everyone will be sitting on 9 litres. So Kimster, did anyone take? So Rico did take fuel on his stop. That's interesting to see. So Rico's heaviest of the cars at the moment, so that's... But did Rico take on fuel? Did that... I'm not sure what the fuel burn is on in these cars around this track, so will that play into Rico's hands with the others having to stop maybe for fuel? We'll have to see. Look now at this battle for 1st place. Of course, Morsey, with that 6-second penalty that he has, he will have to get past Nomis and get 6 seconds clear to take the race win. It's unlikely that he will. So it will look like so this will be Nomis' race victory. After his... Of course, he took 2 race victories himself. I remember where that was. Donington, yeah. So sorry, yeah, he took 2 race victory at Donington Park. So Morsey, of course, he had 4 victories stretched. It's currently the record at the moment for the Weekend Cup. He took 4 victories. So so 3 victories on the bounce. So he took race wins at Red Bull and Alton Park. Nomis then took 2 races at the 2 races at Donington, back to back there, and Rico was our race winner from last week. He's currently in 3rd place, but he will lose it on penalties that he's accumulated. So a nice mix of race winners. Our first ever race winner was, of course, John Reeve. He took his race win at Red Bull, but wasn't able to take it. Take his victory. Take the back-to-back victories. As Kimster's looking to challenge Rico, he wants to get it done on track rather than take it on penalties, which is what he will do. As the track's starting to get more and more damp. Because last week's race was the race that would have been on Saturday was abandoned, so that was a no result. Of course, there was issues that Thomas didn't change his tyres. He did take a race win, but of course that was officially stricken from him, unfortunately for him. Thomas would have won at Donington. So here we go back down to the battle for to be the last spot on the podium. 7 laps remaining of this grueling Ginetta race. Weekend Cup race 1, of course, from Silverstone National race 2 will be tomorrow from 9 o'clock, which will be the final race in the Ginetta Junior. As Kimster looking, he had a little bit of an open door there, and that will be a penalty accumulated again for Rico. Will he take it? Doesn't look like he will. Another penalty they will be getting. We've got pinged, and he looks like he's going to give it back to the game. And Kimster moves into third place. I think he was going to get third place anyway on penalties alone, as it looks as though Kimster moves into an easy third place. Morsey still in second. We now go into what would be the final 5 laps of this race. Nomis will take his 3rd race victory in the EDC Weekend Cup. So again, it's like the puddles are starting to form, and that's why Morsey went a bit wide there. But you have to be careful on the inside of that corner. That little kink, there's puddle there. So 5 laps now remaining. So we go back on Kimster's case. It looks like he is, but he has accumulated 2 seconds of penalties, so he will have to get 2 seconds clear to avoid losing that podium spot. From the sounds of the screen, I think the rain has stopped. It hasn't. We go on board with our race leader. He's got Morsey behind him. Into Luffield. One more time. He's going to do this 4 more times. Spray kicked off these cars. You can see it all over the back, all over the window. As Kimster's got a bit wrong there. Contact again. So that was contact between Kimster and Rico. Saw it there in car. That was at Luffield. Kimster got it a bit deep there. It was a little bit of a late braking from him, but Rico tattooed him, but not enough to knock him off. So that will now mean that Kimster will move ahead of him now. The rain, you can see the reflections of the lights showing the puddles that are forming on the Wellington Straight. He's then looking to avoid them all. It's like a minefield of wet patches. Of course, that's going to be there tomorrow. That was obviously, that puddle there was what, when you saw Nomis's car slow down, that was obviously what Kimster hit on the exit of Brooklands, which then caused Rico to go into the back of him. You can see them all there. Now as the sun's starting to come, you can see the reflection of them all. It's not renowned for its drainage. Silverstone, it's pretty poor for it, even in real life. They lost a MotoGP race out there because of rain, so even its classic version has got very poor drainage, and puddles do form everywhere on that track. But these guys are going to have some experience of it now, so tomorrow the race will be completely wet from the weather forecast I saw, so it's gonna be very interesting what happens with everyone hitting those puddles. As you can see them all dodging them all over the place down the Wellington Straight. There's of course that one that's on the inside, on the outside of Brookland. Mordy's just clipped it. So we now go to the last 2 laps of this race. I'm pretty sure Rico will know that it was a puddle that caused that problem between him and Kimster. As you can see it, although all the spray and everything from these cars and all those puddles, even those puddles forming in the pit lane, there it is. It's causing no end of a massive puddle there on the outside of that little nick there. So this is our battle for third, but unfortunately with the penalties that he's got, so it's Nomis coming out to start the penultimate lap of this race, gingerly driving it around this soaked track. The light rain on this game doesn't really act like light rain. It's supposed to be drizzle, but it's more like a full storm. You can see it glistening there in the sunlight as we go into a slot that now medium rain, so the medium clouds, so the rain starting to stop. So it will be Nomis who will take the race victory here at race 1 here at the Silverstone National. Race 2 tomorrow from 9 o'clock. Reverse grid based on these positions. So everyone that raced tonight will be reversed. Those who have retired or quit, they will go to the back, will not be given new advantages. You see those puddles are causing problems at the Wellington Straight. It's now starting to avoid those in that corner, at Brooklands and Luffield complex. And here comes Nomis to and now starting the final lap of the race. In American race terms, Nomis is now has now taken the white flag. Is it the white flag? I think it's the white flag for the last lap. We'll go back to this battle. It's not really a battle between these two. Thomas, of course, he's going to come in 5th place. So we'll. So as Nomis hits a puddle, he has smashed into a puddle on the Wellington Straight. He's lost control. It is treacherous out there. And of course, tomorrow's race will be fully wet, so he's hit another puddle that slowed him down. This is all coming back to Morsey, but Morsey will. Of course, he's got to Gets 6 seconds clear, but it is going to be race win number 3 for Nomis. He does a bit of flash of lights, but I'm pretty sure his heart was in his... Pretty sure he was pretty much gripping his seat there as he hit that puddle. So it is race win for Nomis. Morsey in second place. Kimster will come in in third place. As Rico gives us a little bit of some tricks at the back there as he comes in fourth. And in fifth place to complete out this race will be Thomas. So there was retirement. So the retirements was Jiffers, Winky, who got disconnected, and Jiffers, Winky, and Ashhead. And of course, it says me retired, but I didn't actually race because I went into the monitor screen. So ignore that bit. But thank you very much for watching. So there's your official confirmation of your race winner. It was Nomis who won the race. He didn't get the fastest lap. That went to Kimster, 1:11:32. Congratulations to him for the fastest lap. So that will, of course, I'll give the information of what the points are for the championship race tomorrow. So you'll join us tomorrow from 9 o'clock. That will be live on my YouTube channel here. So sub, like, and comment. And if you want to join us, please send me a message on Twitter, and I'll get you into the race. You can also find us on the EDC, on the European Drivers Championship on Facebook. So join us tomorrow for an interesting climax to this race. Race number 2, round 10, the last race of the EDC Weekend Cup. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.